Hey everybody, this is Nikki with Curiosity Quills Press, and today I'm going to be talking about the female perspective tweet chat we have coming up next week, and 2 of the 4 authors and books that I will be featuring. So, in preparation for this tweet chat, which is, by the way, next Saturday at 12 p.m. PST, and the hashtag is hashtag she said he said. You don't know how many times I had to try that to say it. It is such a tongue twister. Anyways, hashtag she said he said. Basically, it's going to be 4 debut authors, all with a little bit of an undead theme, and they are female authors penning male authors. I find this topic extremely interesting. A couple of weeks ago, I did a booktube about gender in cover design and how it's kind of a bias and target towards genders. So it really got me thinking about that and how it may influence all aspects of the writing. And I took a good look at my favorite books versus how many books I read overall are male authors versus female authors, or male protagonists versus female protagonists. And what I've realized is that on a general level, I prefer definitely a female protagonist, and I relate better to them. I do not relate well to vulnerable characters usually, and I also tend to prefer books that are written by female authors for the most part, but there's really like a 50-50 there. One example is Jeff Wheeler's Wretched of Muirwood series I read recently, and that is a kick-ass female protagonist written by a male author, and I loved that series. It was lovely. So there is definitely some inconsistency as far as the gender of the author, but I definitely prefer female protagonists, except my favorite all-time novels, kind of consistently, are male protagonists. Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, Harry Potter, Ender's Game, Catcher in the Rye, all favorites of mine, all male protagonists. Those are the books that I read, besides Pride and Prejudice, probably the most repetitively. I've read all of them at least 5 times, so for me it's kind of, they're more memorable for some reason, and they strike me more, and I think that's very interesting that I relate more to female authors, or female protagonists rather, but that my favorites over time are these male protagonists. Maybe because they're different and it's more of like an adventure, I'm not sure. But I thought that was super interesting, and I would love to know what you guys prefer, if you read in your same gender, if you read the opposite, if it matters what the protagonist is or the author, if you see any trends like that. I think it would be so interesting to know you guys' thoughts on that, so please comment down below. And the next thing I'm going to be talking about, I'm super excited about, because I read Catch Me When I Fall by Vicki, Leigh, and The Other Lamb by Katie Young for this week's upcoming tweet chat. So, basically, female authors penning male protagonists, debut authors, debut books, and they both have kind of an undead theme. So I kind of expected they would be fairly similar. Boy, was I wrong. And when I mean boy, I mean boy. So the first novel, Catch Me When I Fall by Vicki, Leigh, has kind of a trope I was expecting to see in a male protagonist, which is the heterosexual kind of overprotective leader, kick-ass fighting kind of guy, and he is a dream catcher, which dream catchers and dream weavers, this is my favorite part about this book, the plot is amazing. So dream basically, because of what the dream weaver weaves into your head. They take memories and thoughts and they make a nice little beautiful dream for you. And then nightmares come in, which, by the way, are not figments of your imagination, but are actual live demons that come into your room. Dream catchers have to fight them off, and if they lose, or just aren't there, I guess, nightmares take hold of your dreams and make them nightmares. If this continues to happen without protection, you will go insane, or become intrinsically evil. And I thought that they name drop like historical figures left and right, which I thought was hilarious. And so Vicki Leigh, for me, very much fit the typical trope that I think works for most male protagonists, books, movies, video games, you name it. And it was really a delight to read. And she also kind of weaved in a little bit of vulnerability into him, which I think was great. There were several instances, for example, where if the team or other people had not stepped in and saved the day, shit would have hit the fan. It wasn't always up to him. He wasn't always saving the day. So I thought that was really great. Transversely, I have almost the polar opposite. I have a homosexual male who is more submissive and really kind of just coming into his age. I think they're the same age, but obviously in Catch Me When I Fall, he is 17 perpetually, so he's actually lived for 200 years. In The Other Lamb, he is 17, but he's really 17. He is just now kind of really understanding himself. He isn't out yet. He really hasn't kind of come to grips with the fact that he is gay. And then he meets this celebrity musician who is like his all-time favorite musician and has a sexual experience with him. And then he kind of tells him that he is a nephil, which is someone without a heart, basically, and he realizes that it's true, and he's like, well, am I a vampire? How am I still living? And he has this kind of thirst for blood that he's been basically kind of shove down and just deny for the last few days, and he says, you've just turned of age, it's now all kind of starting to unwind for you, and if you feed, if you submit to the need of blood, you're going to become a monster, but you kind of already are, by the way. And the nephil in this book are children of fallen angels that are on Earth, which this musician Grigori is. So unlike in the first book, where the main character is always going after the things and fighting and kind of being the proactive person, this main character, Zachary, is the opposite. He really can't help anything that's happening to him. He just gets pushed and pulled in all these directions. All of this is getting thrown at him, and he really can't do anything to stop any of it or really change any of it. And I just thought it was such a different dynamic take between that story and the second, and I loved my overall thought at the end of it was, how in the hell did two female authors that are so similar in a lot of ways and coming into the same circumstances create two equally dynamic but extremely different male protagonists? And I love that idea. I'm so excited to ask them the questions I have prepared for next tweet chat. By the way, it's going to be 12 p.m. PST, 8 p.m. UK time, and Saturday, September 21st is the date, and it's going to be the two authors I've just been talking about, plus The Gateway Through Which It Came by Heather Marie, and The Undead Playing for Keeps by Elsie Aylmore. Those last two books I'm going to be reading this week and doing a booktube right before the tweet chat, so keep an eye for that one. And I'd love for you guys to come and participate in the tweet chat. It's, like I said, hashtag she said, he said, and you can ask, of course, your own questions. I have some prepared for them to kind of answer and get out the main details, but anything you guys have questions about, please but any questions you guys have would be more than welcome. I'm sure they'll be awesome. But any questions you guys have would be more than welcome. We'd love to see you there. So until next time, thanks so much, guys. Please comment down below and let me know what your favorites are. I have some questions already prepared for them, but I would love to know your questions for them. And I already have some questions prepared, but they're going to be